Previously at Chester Zoo, a baby giraffe was born.
I've never seen such a small giraffe in my life.
But she's 2 weeks premature and she hasn't yet fed from her mother. Today, headkeeper Tim must make a critical decision whether to leave the baby with Mum or feed her himself.
It's not an easy decision, it's not something taken lightly. It's the last thing I really want to do, is to have to take away a healthy calf from a female that wants to rear.
Headkeeper Wayne takes the plunge.
Oh, it's gone down the back. Oh.
And the flamingos take flight. And the zebras go prancing on ice. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and long before the gates open to the public, headkeeper Tim Rowlands is hard at work in Chester Zoo's Giraffe House.
Come on, Faye.
Tim is being kept busy looking after a baby giraffe that was born at the zoo 3 days ago.
Come on, little girl. Let's get you weighed.
It's been a worrying time for him because the baby arrived 2 weeks early and is only half the size she should be. Worse still, she hasn't yet managed to feed from her mother.
She's a good girl, but I'd like to see her feed. Well, this morning when we've come in, baby's up and walking around looking for food. She's quite alert, but still no sign of baby feeding. This is incredibly frustrating because the calf is sucking from the front of the female, and she's sucking from the belly. She's just not going to the right area. And once or twice she has actually touched the right area this morning. Mum flinches and moves off, but the calf's not sussing that that's it, that's the place to go, which is really unusual. We've not had this in giraffes before. I've had it in a camel, but we were able to go in and push the calf onto the teats and show her where they were, and that worked really well. She then reared it. But because I'm not going to go in and start pushing around an adult female giraffe, if I thought she was calm enough, I would push the calf in the right direction. But me going anywhere near there is going to be me being at risk and the calf being at risk, because Mum will just lash out at anybody. So she's very good with me, but not to that degree.
If all else fails, Tim will have to bottle feed the baby, but it's a course of action he's reluctant to take.
I really don't want to have to hand rear the healthy calf, but we're not going to lose it. And also, the longer we're leaving these, the bigger the bond there is between mum and calf, and the harder it's going to be for us to try and feed the calf. So we'll make a decision in the next couple of hours what we're going to do. It's not been an easy decision. It's not something taken lightly. It's the last thing I really want to do, is to have to take away a healthy calf from a female that wants to rear, but the two just aren't gelling. First time, so learning curve for both of them, and certainly Mum. So this is going to be a long, hard few months, but that's what we do.
Later on, Tim faces a tough decision in the struggle to keep the baby alive.
Something's gone wrong on my section with my animals that meant we've had to do this.
At Chester Zoo's Flamingo Lake, headkeeper Wayne McLeod is tidying up some building materials following the opening of the newly completed Flamingo House. It's been a traumatic few weeks for Wayne and his team. They were forced into a race against the clock when plummeting temperatures put the flamingos at risk from frost and foxes.
Another night like last night, and it's forecast to freeze, so not taking the chance. I'm going to get them in.
Having beaten the freeze and finished the new winter quarters, Wayne and his team had to quickly herd the flamingos inside to safety.
Go on. Go on. They'll go in this time, watch.
Good birds, go on. Sit still, don't.
It went in really well, really pleased. Oh, I'll sleep tonight, I tell you. It's been an absolute nightmare.
Now the cold snap is over, the birds are due to go back outside this morning. With new fencing, trees and plants in place, the transformation of their enclosure is finally complete. All that remains is for Wayne to remove some potential trip hazards in the water.
These posts were knocked in with a digger to run the electric fence around to the old barrier where the flamingos were, when the flamingos were housed on the far side. So because they were knocked in with a big machine, you can't just pull them out. So I'm having to cut them off at the lake bed. And just in case a bird runs into it, you know, it's just it's a bit of a hazard, really. It seems to have been going on forever. We were so close, so tight to getting the birds in, and now all the snagging, all the final little bits. But it's the intricate detail that separates Chester from other zoos, really, doesn't it? Premier League. Right, let's go.
Luckily for Wayne, the lake is just a couple of feet deep, but the water is not exactly inviting.
Yeah, it's cold, very cold. Can't see me doing many of these, not today. Wow. It's freezing, hand's gone dead. Whoa. Plan B, I think. Whoa.
Inside the house, there are 90 flamingos in total, and Wayne is worried that if they all rush out at once, they could be badly injured on the posts.
These are the ones I want out the way, though. These three here, that's the ones that the birds are most likely to run into when they come out the shed. So get these and them that side. I won't be able to do any more. Freezing.
In the primate section, Xander, the Ruffed Lemur, has spent the last few days in isolation, following a visit to zoo vet Steve Unwin. Xander had been off colour, and Steve decided to run a full health check on him. It included X-rays, blood tests, and a TB test. But the final diagnosis was a sore throat.
Well, what it is an area of inflamed tissue on the roof of his mouth that goes a little way down his esophagus.
This morning, Steve is back to see if he's better.
Certainly after the weekend, Xander is feeding much better than he has been in the past, and he's looking a heck of a lot brighter. So I'm quite hopeful that today we'll be giving him this last antibiotic injection, and that should be it.
With the help of his keepers, Xander is caught in a squeeze cage. It enables Steve to get a good look at him.
From what I saw on the blood work, it doesn't look like he's got anything infectious to the others. So what we'll do today, we'll give him his last antibiotic injection, and then we can pop it back to prove it. Okay.
Well done.
I'm really happy with Xander's progress. As most of you will know, when you've got a really badly inflamed throat, how sore that can be. And we have confirmed that it was a local infection rather than going throughout his body, which is really good news. So what we've decided to do is to pop him back with the rest of the group, doesn't have anything infectious, and in a couple of weeks' time catch him up and reweigh him just to make sure he's getting access to the food that he needs. But in the interim, he's been feeding really well, so it's great news.
Xander has only been away from the group for a few days, but when he returns, he gets a hostile reception. Xander is one of the junior members of the group. The others are keen to re-establish their dominance over him. But the squabbling doesn't last long. Once Xander accepts defeat, peace returns to the enclosure. Back at Flamingo Lake, headkeeper Wayne has been to the penguin section to borrow a wetsuit.
Put the whole suit on just
He's hoping it will keep him warm as he works in the freezing water.
These are only size small. It's for the girls to clean out the penguin pool, see. I've managed to squeeze into it, don't ask me how, but I got in it. I've had to put the whole suit on just so I want to use my arms. I don't even have my arm in the water, but I feel a bit restricted to say the least. Oh, they leak. Oh, it's still cold. Oh. Oh, they hope they appreciate this, I tell you. Actually, it's all right. It's just my hands that's cold now. There we go. That's not too bad. I've done some daft things in my time. Believe it or not, I'm quite hot now. It's freezing the water, but fair play. My arm's warm. My hand's cold. There's a few holes in the glove. Oh, it's gone down the back. Oh, it's running down my back now. Oh, I have to stand up. Oh, it's gone down into my foot now.
Wayne's antics have drawn a crowd. And it's not just the paying guests who are interested.
Cream cracket. I do wonder why you do this sometimes. Who wants to be a zookeeper? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's gone down my back again. That's it. Done. Oh. That's right to do now.
At Chester Zoo, headkeeper Tim Rowlands is making up a bottle feed for the new baby giraffe. Tim has been watching the calf all morning, and there's still no sign of her feeding from her mother. He can't risk waiting any longer.
Situation is that I've made the decision that we have pulled the calf, taken Mum out, and we did that an hour ago, so it's had time to get over that. I'm now going to go and try a bottle and see how we go from there. This could be a long process, it could be an easy one, but because it's bonded with Mum, it's been in for 3 days now, then it's not going to happen straight away. Gutted I've had to pull. Job is to breed these animals and to parent rear them, and when we have to intervene, then I will do, but I don't feel good about this. Something's gone wrong on my section with my animals that meant we've had to do this, so I've got to concentrate on making sure calf's okay and I can get it feeding, and then I'll sit back afterwards and wonder why and work out a plan so this one doesn't happen again in the future. So the first hurdle is to get her to suckle, so she needs to bond with me a little bit. Nobody will be going in the house while I'm doing this. Closed up, no staff in. Hopefully Giraffe's fed and got browsed, so they're just going to be occupied and not necessarily watching me. And just a bit of time with the calf. Now I don't want to spend too much time that it's going to bond and imprint on me. We've not had that before, and so this is the line I want to go down again, that we go in and we feed 5 minutes and then we come out. So we're warming up to body temperature, not too hot, and then we'll give it a go.
It's the start of what could be a long and emotional period for Tim. But he and his team of keepers will do everything in their power to make sure the baby survives. Later on,
Just let the birds on the other side know I'm coming in. Being polite, as you do.
headkeeper Wayne's hard work pays off, and the flamingos take flight. At the zebra enclosure, there's been fighting among 2 members of the all-male group, Cade and Caesar. Headkeeper Chaz Mackenzie and keeper Louise Hopkins are determined to put a stop to it.
The zebras, we're having quite a bit of problems with aggression, especially with 2 of them. So we're having to keep them separate. So what we'll do then is we'll bring the zebras back onto their hard stand, and we're going to swap Caesar with Cade for a little while, so Cade can go back with the group, and Caesar will be out of the group for correction therapy to make sure he doesn't beat Cade up.
With the plan in place, it's time to overthrow Caesar.
Caesar will probably come through first, so thinking get Cade over and then lock him off there, and then Caesar will come straight through thinking he can get Cade.
Yeah.
And then we'll lock Cade in, and then I'll run round
And open the gate.
Open them.
Yeah.
Come on, boy. There's a good lad. Come on, Cade. So, no, I don't want to. Good boy.
Cade comes quietly.
He's basically the bottom rung of the zebra group. Caesar, being the top rung, keeps bullying them and beating them up, and so we're having to keep these separate at the moment to make sure that no harm comes to them.
Caesar, come on.
It's full out aggression, biting, kicking, wounds, you name it. It gets quite vicious. It's a hierarchical thing, isn't it? The lowest in the pecking order gets the worst stick.
With Caesar put in his place, Cade can now be reintroduced to the rest of the herd.
I'm going to let Cade out into the hard stand first, and then Lou, who's already in there, will let the rest of the guys in with him. Caesar stays in.
Good boys. Come on, Kai. There's good lads.
The zebras often fight amongst themselves, but if things get out of hand, individual troublemakers are moved on.
We hold a bachelor group, which is all the males. In the wild, it's a very transient group. The males are coming in, and the older males are off finding their own groups, territories, and it works virtually the same in zoos. You can only hold the males together for so long before the aggression gets too bad. Some real bad injuries can happen. So that's where we have a very fine line of a cut-off when the older boys have to move on to other collections, and then we bring in younger lads in, put them into the group, and so the group's always changing, so we've never actually keep the same zebra here at all.
With Caesar out of the way, Cade puts on a show of bravado. On ice.
That's what he can't do with Caesar.
It's not too bad yet.
Yeah. Oh, go on the grass.
Yes, we're going to do that.
Yeah. Caesar will not be happy seeing all them out on the grass.
It's going to be really upsetting me.
Yeah. He will not be happy with me at all. Oh, look at that.
I'm getting excited as well. They look good when they're just playing at this.
Yeah.
In minutes, it all quietens down, and everybody's happy. Well, almost everybody. Back at the new Flamingo House, headkeeper Wayne McLeod is finally ready to let the birds out.
We've been inside for 4 days now. The weather's warmed up, so I'm sure they'll be keen to get out. As you see, it's overcast, but it's mild, except in the water on your hands. It's pretty cold there. But they'll be fine. They'll enjoy getting out, I'm sure. Just let the birds on the other side know I'm coming in. Being polite, as you do. Okay, it's only me.
Wayne first opens up the door to the Caribbean flamingos. But after all his hard work, they stay put. Then, in an instant, they all go out at once. When he opens the door to the Chilean flamingos, the exodus is almost immediate.
That's why you remove all the trip hazards, clumsy things. Once one decides to go, they all go. That's where you can have the problem of what the leaders, if you like, the yellow jerseys tripping over, and then everything behind can go over it. So that's why we took the time to remove all them logs out of the water. The less for them to trip over, the better, because they've got long, clumsy legs, haven't they? Buzzing now, yeah, made up, yeah. Job done.
With the flamingos enjoying the fresh air, all that remains is for Wayne to fight his way out of that wetsuit.
I'm not stripping off in front of you lot, not with these. You want to see me? I look like Maxwell. No way. Good night, thank you, and good night.
Next time, will the baby giraffe take to the bottle?
Decided to come in around midnight. You know, didn't get any food into her, but I did think there was something there that was giving me a little bit of hope.
Chaz measures up, ready for the year's most exciting arrival. A new pal for Patna.
She's coming all the way from Switzerland, so the quicker we can get her offloaded and let her rest, the better it will be for her.
And there's a sad departure. Tejas, the lion cub, gets ready to say goodbye to Chester and to the keeper who raised him.
The next week's going to be very difficult, and I've been thinking about that day for a long time. I think he will miss me, but I think we're going to miss him more.